Indeed, there were families, mother and father, and 2
traction
kids.
engines here. Come in the ring here.
That was their only hope.
Up here, that's Royal Bath and West.
Reared a family in one of those little living vans, and the kids went to a local school. The rollers would be on these contracts for a year at a time or more. Those of you that are accountants will know that the idea is not to have too much capital equipment on your accounts. It's better without it. So of course councils were always happy to hire equipment like that rather than buy their own.
Was it the last few minutes? Is it been coming in?
There's the barrel. Oh, he's got to go with the shot, I think. Come on, Cara, get the wheel turned. Okay, Dave Allen.
2 drivers.
Bert's a blacksmith actually, but he's not bad on
There's
steam.
uses and specifications
Horses.
over the years.
Cara, they say they worked for a long time to rebuild that engine. Another lovely big agricultural just making its way in. This is a Marshall engine built in Gainsborough, Lincolnshire, and although the Marshall factory is gone, the facade is still there. And it's now the front of the supermarket. They wanted to knock it down, and the council said, no, you'll keep it and build the other part of your front wall for your...
Not in sync, by the way. I think he's commentator the one's just passing the commentary box.
Turn left, you'll find
Steam Lorry here, Foden here.
Marshall's works, but I think it's a Tesco supermarket. That big engine was very successful design for Marshall.
Built on.
They started building them just at the turn of the century, just 1902 I think was the earliest. And they carried on building exactly the same engine till the 1930s. So we think it's safe to say they got it right. Big strong engine, the sort of thing that would have worked in the eastern counties where they would have a rick of corn anything up to half a mile long, built at the side of a track, and they would work their way down that during the course of the winter with the equipment sat on the track.
Actually, I don't think that is not steam car, probably. We'll say, yeah.
The Foden wagon, we haven't talked about that very much. We did briefly mention the little miniature Foden wagon, but this is the full size Reliance. Jess has had this, Jess Waldron's had this since the early 70s.
Petrol.
Built in 1930, very much towards the end of the steam wagon era. But that particular one was originally built on solid tyres, the same as the engines. But went back to Foden's in 1934 and fitted with pneumatics. Now at that time, of course, pneumatics were very expensive and a bit tender, I think is the best word to use. So people didn't tend to buy them unless they were just doing road work. You certainly didn't go into a rough stone quarry with pneumatic tyres because it would split them, damage them, and they were, relative today, very expensive. I mean, if you think about car tyres today, you don't pay any more for a car tyre now than you did 20 or 30 years ago. Like batteries cost.
Well, it depends what you're buying at.
Pneumatics on vehicles became the same. But very comfortable lorry to drive that. Jess frequently does quite long distances with it on his own. I know when I saw him down at Abbey Hill Rally in Yeovil, he'd come down from Langford, and he said, well, I didn't get away till after tea, and he drifted down on his own. You've got to stop to fire up, of course, if you're on your own, unless you've got a big engine. Now, the crane engine and the other road locos carry a 2-man crew. So you have a driver who's responsible for
Marshall here,
keeping the boiler up together, looking at the water level, and also putting the brakes on and deciding how
maybe when he was talking about
and the steersman. And all the steersman's job is
the one going around again on the road, the
Foden in the right direction.
Steam Lorry here, in the
also,
1930s
very
here.
importantly, to keep a lookout.
Towards the end of the steam era.
Loading his shovel with coal. And the car pulls off in front, and then the steersman's got to react. First thing you should do is shout whoa, and then you start looking for brake handles and things to bring everything to a halt. Interestingly, in law, the steersman is not responsible for anything at all. So if you finish up in the ditch or you absolutely savage a car coming the other way because the steersman wasn't doing his job properly, it's still the driver's fault because he's legally responsible for the vehicle. Nowadays, of course, doing road work is a bit more challenging with an engine because if you look at Princess Mary, the view ahead is very limited. If you look at the big Fowler crane here again, the view ahead is very limited. And on the crane, the steersman is sitting or standing on the right-hand side, so it's very difficult to see the curve as you're going along. What you do on that particular engine is there's 2 little brass oil points on the front. You use those
left-hand drive
point to work out how far you are from the curve, and hence you keep the thing in the right place on the road. The big Marshall that's just pulling into place, you'll notice, has got rubber tyres on the back. Now, these are modern quad-track tyres off agricultural machines, the modern rubber-tyred crawlers. Right, what we're going to do? Find out whilst Jerry has a little burst in the car.
Car going around again here.
I'd love to tell you all about the car, but I haven't got the paper. It's not only lacking in mud guards, I think it's a bit lacking in brakes as well, so don't step out from it. As I say, we're going back to driving these engines on the road. If you're on something like Princess Mary,
I'm not sure on the pedal formation on that one either.
On teamwork, in the sense that the driver looks out up the right-hand side and the steersman looks out up the left-hand side. Between you keep an eye on the traffic. And the steersman can reach the brake and he can reach the regulator. So if you've got to stop and the driver's not looking what's happening because he's busy doing something else, the steersman can shut the regulator, wind the flywheel brake on and bring everything to a halt. Because one of the problems we have nowadays, of course, is people overtake the engine and say, oh, that's lovely, I must take a picture of that. So they overtake and pull up in front of you, jump out of the car, and they effectively pitch your braking distance, which can lead to a few moments.
You don't have any official brakes on these?
Dire panic.
Passing traffic should beware.
The big barrel
people stopping in front of you.
Something like about 40 turns to full lock on the steering, and having wound it on, you then have to wind it
40
off
tons.
Because it doesn't straighten itself up like a car would. It has to be wound one way and then wound back. So if you're going around a roundabout with Mary, you can't go around at full gallop. You've got to slow right down.
Yeah, no crane, there we are.
And the
Wolverhampton
driver will be keeping an eye on his steersman. Just mind your toes here as he comes round. Mind my commentary box as well. The sponsors won't be very pleased if you savage it. So as I say, having wound your lock on, there you are, see he's winding off now to straighten up. So if you come into a roundabout, he's got to wind about 20 turns as he enters.
Tyler engine here.
Then he's got to wind about 40 turns the other way as you go round the roundabout, and another 40 turns back to leave the roundabout. And that requires a certain amount of time.
Leeds company course like.
The driver has to slow right down. And if you've got a good driver, he won't open up again until the steersman nods or glances at him and say, okay, right, we're ready to go. Otherwise, you say you finish up on
engineers
the grass birds.
in Wolverhampton at the time.
A lot of people saying, you know, what the hell are you doing there?
Flywheel there.
Oh, right, we're doing rides, are we? That's right. It's very much easier to cope with a Burrell because the steering is on the left. So whoever finishes up now getting on, last on is going to finish up steering, sitting in the seat. From there you can lean out over the side and see how far you are from the curve, as opposed to the Fowler that's just coming round where in fact you can't see the curve very well at all. I steered a Fowler many years ago for a wonderful old character up in Yorkshire, and if he thought you were getting too close to the curve and you were going to scratch the paint on his wheel, he used to belt you in the ribs with his elbow, which meant get out a bit. So when your ribs got a bit sore, you tended to ride on the centre of the road rather than get too close to the curve.
The one down there.
Right away they
He's coming
go.
up here. Maybe he is coming up here.
Now I was talking earlier about